We are only 3 days away from the presidential and parliamentary elections here in Ghana. Hello and welcome to Joy News, coming to you live from our studio here in Accra, Ghana. Coming up this hour, Accra braces for a major political showdown tomorrow, December 5, as MPP and NDC hold final rallies at the University of Ghana and Zurich Park in Medina, respectively. More as the National Elections Security Task Force announces strict arrangements ahead of tomorrow. Also, MPP founding member Nyaho Tamakloe calls for the arrest of embattled Ayawaso West Wogon MP and her subsequent withdrawal from the parliamentary race.
I have always been saying the IGP seems to talk a lot, but a lot happens that he's quiet on. Such a person should have been arrested then.
And from the campaign trail, the wife of the Vice President, Samira Bawumia, has called on voters to reject violence and intimidation on Saturday, December 7, as Ghanaians go to the polls to elect a new president and new parliamentarians.
Well, it's obvious. Peace. To have development, you need peace. And we've seen the tensions around. We've heard some of the rhetoric, which is very unfortunate. But we need to continue as leaders to encourage our people to be peaceful.
Well, we also have prime business and prime sports all in this 1 hour bulletin. Please stay for details here on the Joy News channel. We're live on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 125. Around the world on myjoyonline.com. Please stay for details.
Election Headquarters is brought to you by Petro.
Let's start off from the election headquarters. As founding member of the MPP, Dr. Nyaho Tamakloe has waded into the controversy in the Ayawaso West Wogon. He is calling for the arrest and prosecution of the Member of Parliament for Ayawaso West Wogon, Lydia Alhassan, following allegations that she distributed food packages to security officials during the special voting process. On Wednesday, Dr. Nyaho Tamakloe described the MP's actions as not only unethical, but also a serious breach of electoral conduct. According to him, such actions undermine the integrity of Ghana's democratic process and should not be tolerated, particularly by individuals in positions of power. The following report has more.
Nyaho Tamakloe also expressed disappointment in the security officials for not rejecting the food package. He added that the MPP should have revoked Lydia Alhassan's candidature by now, deeming her unfit to be a member of parliament.
She denied flatly that she has not been there, while she has been captured on video. We don't need such people in parliament. We don't need such people as lawmakers. They will destroy this country. Indeed, I will pray that she loses the election if she's still going to contest, because she is a person you cannot rely on. And this also should alarm us and alarm the security services. I have always been saying the IGP seems to talk a lot, but a lot happens that he's quiet on. Such a person should have been arrested then.
Meanwhile, former Science and Environment Minister Professor Frimpong Boateng has condemned MPP's Ashanti Regional Minister Bernard Enchibuesiaku, popularly known as Chairman Wunturi, for calling on Asanteman to rise up against alleged intimidation from other tribes. Professor Boateng said such comments could incite violence.
There's this viral video. Chairman Wunturi called upon Ashantis to arise. You know, it's a war cry. I mean, trying to instigate war in this country. I mean, Ghana is a very peaceful country. We all know that from history, all accounts set off, or Bron was where we all started from, and then from Techiman we all and so on. So accounts are one people.
On the conduct of Ghanaians on election day, retired military officer Brigadier General Nunu Mensah urged the public to protect the country's democratic values.
But when we are gone, how are you going to take Ghana? Some of us are gone. People like Dr. here in our 80s are gone. Are you going to manage Ghana? Are you going to be able to manage Ghana? Do you have the courage to speak the truth, defend Ghana? That's what worries me most of the time.
All three statesmen called for a peaceful election during and after the process.
Now, all is set for a showdown in Accra tomorrow, Thursday, December 5, as the NPP and the NDC prepare to hold massive final rallies ahead of the big day on Saturday. The NPP will converge at the University of Ghana, while the NDC will gather at Zurak Park in Medina. To ensure a smooth and peaceful event, specific route diversions have been announced by the National Elections Security Task Force. There is more in the following report by my colleague, James Aveji.
The National Election Security Task Force, led by IGP Dr. George Akufo-Dampare and leadership of the National Democratic Congress, as well as the New Patriotic Party, have been touring the event to hold their final rallies. Now, after a long deliberation between the two sides, the police have announced diversion of route leading to both the University of Ghana Sports Stadium and Zongo Junction, where the two parties will be holding their rallies. Here is Director of Public Affairs for the police, ACP Grace Ansakrofi.
NPP supporters will be coming from Adenta direction towards Legon. They would take left at the Rees Junction, move towards Aviation, and appear on the UPSA road or Oponglo area. That will let them access the University of Ghana Sports Park without having to go through Medina and the Zongo Junction areas. Also, NPP supporters will be coming from the Dome direction towards Legon. We'll go right at the Hacho Junction towards Gempa, and then access the University of Ghana campus from there. In the case of the NDC, their supporters coming from Tetekwashi, to avoid them going through Legon, will take right at Shiashi towards the UPSA and then take left to hit the main Medina-Accra road. Also, NDC supporters who will be coming from Dome will take left at the KFC junction on the Hacho road towards the Wisconsin direction. This will make it very easy for them to get to Zongo Junction without having to go through Legon.
The diversion, according to the police, is to avoid any form of clash of supporters of the two parties on their way to the event grounds. The police is also appealing to leadership of the two parties to keep their supporters in check.
In addition to these road diversions and the roadblock, we advised the party representatives to also talk to their supporters, especially those who will be moving in groups, that the police officers will not permit them to go against the diversions that have been put in place. So the officers will be there to guide them, support them, and actually direct them to the right route they must use to get to their location.
The police is hopeful that both political parties would adhere to these road diversions to ensure a peaceful final rally. From the National Election Security Task Force Press Center here at the police headquarters, my name is James Aveji, reporting for Joy News.
And the 3 days to the polls wife of Vice President Dr. Bawumia, Samira Bawumia, has called on voters to reject violence and intimidation on Saturday, December 7, as Ghanaians go to the polls to elect a new president and new set of parliamentarians. Speaking at the Ashanti Women for Peace conference in Kumasi, Mrs. Bawumia urged voters to exercise their franchise peacefully and avoid any instance of violence in the voting process. She spoke in an exclusive interview with Joy News' Nana Boachi Yadom. Watch this.
The Ashanti Women for Peace conference was held to encourage women to lead in the advocacy against electoral violence. The conference was to also encourage women participation in the election. Speaking to Joy News on the sideline of the event, wife of the Vice President Samira Bawumia emphasized the need to ensure a peaceful election.
Why do you think that we need peace in this election?
Well, it's obvious. Peace. To have development, you need peace. And we've seen the tensions around. We've heard some of the rhetoric, which is very unfortunate. But we need to continue as leaders to encourage our people to be peaceful. Elections are not about conflicts. They're about making a choice. And a choice should be a peaceful choice. And inshallah, victory will be for the New Patriotic Party. But we need to vote in peace.
Is Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia winning the elections?
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Mrs. Bawumia, who led the New Patriotic Party's delegation to the conference, advised that voters turn their faces against violent activities. The Ashanti Women for Peace group is on a week-long campaign preaching dialogue between political parties before and after the elections. For Joy News, Nana Boache Dankwe Yadom, Kumasi.
Well, the vice presidential candidate for the new force, Dr. Mayram Isaka Kraisi, is optimistic about winning the 2024 presidential elections. She's confident in their plan to industrialize all 16 regions of Ghana, dubbed the 12 pillars of economic freedom. In this interview, Dr. Kraisi said she hopes Ghanaians will break away from the duopoly in Ghana.
I don't know if you have seen our document, the 12 pillars of economic freedom. If you look at that document, nobody will tell you that this is work that is based on a lot of research. If you pick up the document, you see that we have really put in the time, the effort to go around the country, to identify the resources that we have, to find out what the challenges, the problems of the people are, and then try to find out how we can solve those problems. You know, some of the places like the North, I never knew that we had iron ore deposits in the North. And the fact that we could actually make a steel industry out of these iron ore deposits to serve the whole of the country. You know, so this is really a well thought out document, well researched. And so we have put in the time, we've put in the effort, and I think that we have what it takes to address some of these challenges. Well, I think that we are going to win. So I'm not thinking of any plan B for us. So far, I think the youth have bought into our message, and they understand that it is time for change and the power is in their hands. So for me, there is nothing like we, the new force, not winning.
So that's Dr. Mayram Kraisi there in that special interview that is to be played here on the Joy News channel. Now, tomorrow, Thursday, there will be special voting in 2 regions in Ghana, the Western and Eastern regions. On Monday, when other regions were voting, those 2 regions did not vote because the ballot for those 2 regions had to be recalled when one of it got outside the printing house. Today, we'll be sitting down with the EC to ask for the preparations ahead of tomorrow's special voting in these 2 regions. Here's an interview with Dr. Samira Bawumia, who is in charge of training at the Electoral Commission.
So the fear was that if somebody has been able to get that, then the person can pick the security measures on it and use it to replicate it for some reason. The possible reasons could be 2. 1, you know, in 2016, in Ashanti region, somebody said they found 4 huge bags containing ballot papers. We went there and the features were clearly not one of ours. So we were able to debunk that. In 2020, some people are also saying that they found some ballot papers in the bush. So if somebody wants to be mischievous and get this one replicated and go and dump them somewhere, you go in this one, these are genuine ballot papers. It will cut a slur on the election. 2, if they're able to replicate it and they're able to manage to put it in the box, it becomes very difficult for us to differentiate the fake ones from the original one. That's why let's destroy them. So we'll do the reprinting at different printing house with new features, so that in case the old one is found itself somewhere, everybody will know that no, these are those that were dismantled or destroyed. So that is the reason.
So how prepared are we for tomorrow's exercises in both the Western and Eastern regions?
All the materials are now ready in the regions. So we are hoping that tomorrow by 7 o'clock, that we have 17 and so that's 50. 33 constituencies in the Eastern region, 17 is Western, that is 50. All of them will be able to start 7 o'clock on the dot finish 5 o'clock. And the police.
Well, the People's National Convention and the Ghana Freedom Party's official declaration of support for the NDC in the upcoming elections is a clear sign of the party's victory in the December elections. These are the words of NDC presidential candidate John Mahama speaking on day 5 of his tour of the Ashanti region. He expressed gratitude to the GFP and the leadership of the PNC, including its flag bearer Bernard Mona, who officially joined him on the campaign trail. The Ghana Freedom Party had earlier also declared its support for John Mahama, flag bearer of the PNC. Bernard Mona says the party decided to join John Mahama on the campaign trail after declaring support for him last week because the vision of the NDC aligns with theirs.
Well, as you can see, I have the Ashanti regional team led by the regional chairman. We have the national youth organizer of our party. We have the general secretary. We have a NEC member, Reverend Samuel J. Debra, the national chairman, and a host of party supporters that are here with us. It is not sufficient to just declare that the PNC is supporting John Dramani Mahama and his effort to become president. It's important that we work with him. So we have been working across the country, and as we got to the Ashanti region to drum up support from our base, we were told that he is coming to a CRC, and therefore we decided to join him to let the whole community know that the PNC members around are entreated to vote for him. So we are working assiduously that declaration, we are confident, will lead to victory for the people of Ghana in 2024. And that is why we are here. Trump have support for John Dramani Mahama, so he becomes the next president of Ghana to take us out of the economic and social quagmire we find ourselves in.
John Mahama did not miss the opportunity to throw a jab at his opponent, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, referring to the commissioning of the e-gates at the Kotoka International Airport. He quipped that, quote, digital gate did not open for the digital man, unquote. This was in reference to a moment during the event when the e-gate reportedly delayed in opening for the vice president.
Yeah, man, penya bedi chiri. Odi kan eko ema MPP eko abatu no. Ose afe ya jetum se ukuta Ghana kada. Utimi di kutukwa inko abrochiri. Na sa se mo kan no nankase nim se oboa. Immigration so for so be so eka say no correct. Na enra asese mesie machine se uba omaimu a na opentema electronic into which name na what they will passport eto so etimi kan wo passport no na aka setwam na bie gate no twam na saade no ewo airport bebre na mente se yediesi airport a omampanya na bede chire ekobia no ebi se eyade a airport bia omode to ho na Mr. Digital opeso bia hu so ya Mr. Digital odon kwa ojai ni bibia se sa electronic gate no ko bia no ena ode ne Ghana card eto so gate say MBA ode atoso a gate say MBA enti profokasam ni American say the digital gates didn't open for the digital man.
This is Joy News Prime. We'll take a break here. We'll be back with more. Please don't go away.
Good evening and welcome to Prime Business. With me, Pius Kojobaka. Inflation for the month of November has gone up marginally to reach 23% from the October figure of 22.1%. The adjustment was influenced by rising prices of food in the market. There is more in this report. The increased food prices is coming at a time that most market watchers were looking forward to the country benefiting from the harvest season for the third quarter of this year.
However, it appears that was not the situation. The general price levels for food from September to November this year had gone up almost 4%. Professor Samuel Kobnenim is the government statistician.
Coincidentally, for November 2024, both on a year-on-year basis and on a month basis, it's pretty clear that the main driver was food. And why we do say that is on a year-on-year basis, out of the overall rate of inflation of 23.0%, we saw food inflation rising to 25.9%, and indeed we saw a dip of 0.8 percentage points in non-food inflation, dipping from 21.5 to 20.7 for the month of November 2024. A similar story is seen in the case of month-on-month inflation, where on a month-on-month basis we see a variation of 3.8 for food inflation and 1.4 for non-food inflation. Hence, the overall national rate of 2.6% for the month of November 2024, given that food has a weight of 42.7%, was the main driver for the month-on-month inflation.
However, on the non-food side, it went up marginally. Another interesting development from the data released by the Ghana Statistical Service also showed that imported inflation was rather going down, while inflation for locally produced items witnessed some marginal increase for the month of November this year. Vegetable, tubers, plantains, as well as cereals were some of the food prices that caused the hike in inflation for the month of November. The Savannah region recorded the highest inflation of 46% at the regional level.
The country's total earnings from exports for the third quarter of this year has gone up marginally for the third quarter, we are told, in 2024. The Ghana Statistical Service puts the amount at $4.9 billion. More in the following report.
Gold was the major driver behind the surge in Ghana's total export earnings ending September this year. It contributed over 60% of total exports for the period. According to the Ghana Statistical Service, total gold export amounted to 11.6 billion cedis. Crude oil followed, generating significant earnings for the country from July to September 2024. The top 5 exports, gold, crude petroleum, cocoa paste, manganese ore, and tuna, collectively accounted for 83.2% of total exports. On the import side, Ghana spent 4.7 billion from January to September this year, resulting in a trade surplus of 3.9 billion cedis. Government statistician Professor Samuel Kobnenim provided further insight into these developments.
In the third quarter of 2024, the total trade value was 145.7 billion Ghana cedis, and this 145.7 billion Ghana cedis comprised 74.8 billion Ghana cedis in exports and 70.9 billion Ghana cedis in imports. On the face value of the total trade value, Ghana recorded for the fourth consecutive time a trade surplus of 3.9 billion in the third quarter of 2023. Since the first quarter of 2023, we've been recording trade surplus starting with 6.1 billion Ghana cedis in the second quarter of 2024 and 3.9 billion Ghana cedis in the third quarter of 2024. We started the year with a trade surplus of 11.5 billion Ghana cedis, and although we're still recording trade surplus, we are seeing marginal decreases in the trade surplus in the last 3 consecutive months.
Meanwhile, United Arab Emirates emerged as the top export destination for the third quarter of this year, accounting for 25% of all commodities that were exported from July to September 2024.
That's it for Prime Business. I am Pius Kojobaka. Prime Sports is next.
Prime Sports with me, Razak Musbao. Now, former Ghana international Sam Johnson has advised left-back Baba Abdul Rahman to stay away from the Black Stars for the foreseeable future. The 30-year-old last featured for Ghana during the 2023 African Cup of Nations qualifier against the Central African Republic in Kumasi, where he faced jeers from sections of the crowd. However, speaking to Pan-Africa Football, Sam Johnson urged Rahman to reject the recent calls for his return to the national team and rather focus on his club career. The Ghanaian defender, who has been an integral part of the Black Stars, became a victim of boos and insult at the Barbaras Stadium in Kumasi when he last featured for the team during the 2023 African Cup of Nations qualifier against Central African Republic. The 30-year-old will later reject subsequent call-ups to the team, including his inclusion in the squad for the 2023 AFCON and most recently the 2026 World Cup qualifier against Mali and the Central African Republic.
Moments I talked to him, but at the moment he's not ready to come back. I don't know exactly what he experienced with the national team, but I don't know what happened after that game, but surely it affected him and his family. And
well, as part of the World Disability Day, the Ghana Paralympic and the Wheelchair Group in Ghana organized tournaments to mark the day. Well, the tournament did attract a number of disability sport athletes for the day.
Players across the country gathered for a special training camp at the Accra Sports Stadium tennis court. Supported by the International Tennis Federation, the camp introduced children between the ages of 10 to 18 to wheelchair tennis and also nurtured their skills. National and regional coaches led the sessions, with the Ghana Wheelchair Tennis Federation National Coordinator Henry Labi describing the initiative as vital for developing the next generation of international wheelchair tennis players.
Wheelchair tennis started in 2013, and we have a strategic plan that we introduce wheelchair tennis in mostly all the regions in Ghana. Currently, we are in the Western region, Central region, Greater Accra, Volta region, Eastern region, Ashanti region, and even the Brown Hafo, when they touched Brown Hafo, and we even went to Tamale. So therefore, it is about 70% covered. And we have coaches which we trained, and these same coaches have brought the kids from their region to Accra here. They only brought a few of them. So therefore, we are going to go back again to their regions and expand on this project we have started here in Accra. But at least a year or two to come, we should have a lot of junior players who then become international players. Because currently, we only have, I'll say, 9 professional players in wheelchair tennis from Ghana who are playing at international levels. But some of them are aging. So we need to make sure we have a crop of younger wheelchair tennis players who can be groomed well to become international players and represent Ghana in international tournaments.
Meanwhile, the National Para-Powerlifting Competition held in collaboration with the National Paralympic Committee showcased the strength of over 50 para-athletes from 5 regions, including Accra, Kumasi, and Tamale. According to member of the Para-Powerlifting Association, Ignatius Elite, the purpose of the event is to rank athletes for future competitions and identify new talents to represent Ghana on the global stage.
Over the years, we have limited athletes, and therefore when it comes to selection of athletes for international event, it becomes a challenge. And therefore, the association think that it's high time we organize such a national event and give opportunity to all the athletes that we have at our disposal. Therefore, today's event is to, first and foremost, identify our potential athletes that will be trained and then prepared for international event, rank them in order of merit, so that when next year we have opportunity to present athletes for international event to represent the nation, we'll be able to pick the best out of the lot that we have.
Well, that's all we have for you on Prime Sports. Over to you, Samuel Kojo-Brace.
Becky, let's bring showbiz now.
Yeah, this evening we're putting the spotlight on Ghana's award-winning gospel sensation who's spreading God's love and inspiring lives through music. Diana Entry Hamilton is on Spotlight this evening. Diana Entry Hamilton there. She's celebrating her birthday today. And so it's the birthday of your son.
It's exciting, yes. My second daughter, Eresi Okoma-Brace, is 8 years today.
You shared the day with
Diana Entry.
legend Diana Hamilton. But we have 3 days more to elections. This evening, we're throwing the spotlight on the leading women in this 2024 election. We have Jane Mensah.
Okay, all right. Well, because she's the commissioner.
She's also. I mean, she's not, part of, but all the women that are playing parts in.
Okay, this is Samira Bawumia, wife of the flag bearer of the MPP. This is Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, running mate to John Mahama. This is Akosia Kumankuma. She's the flag bearer for the CPP.
So these are the people that we're celebrating sort of this evening, tonight, because they are women, and today is Wednesday, and we're crushing on all these women. But
we've done the running mate to Cheddar, so maybe it's right. Because she's also a woman there. But we've done a story earlier in the day, so we celebrate her as well.
We'll add that. But we have the video of the day for you this evening before we go.
I'm Babe. Let's say a quantity there's some money I moved the biology in the by version. I'm going to be na to a bagumono. What's your friend say? Biology. Someone the boss or the biology boss or no. Biology boss or the best. A man, you have bought a demonstration in your channel. To boss it. To be a maha. Also, be near trouble, my friend say. Biology boss or no. Aha. What's your friend say? Biology boss or no. Someone knew not some man, Yaquano. What about a man, your best channel? Aye.
Biology box no. How much biology box no? Or ballot box or ballot box. But that's all for Joy News Prime this evening. We're grateful for your time. Please log on to myjoyonline.com. That's where you find all the news. Thank you so much, Brace, for having me all the time. We'll be back tomorrow.
Exactly.
Bye.
Thank you.